and excited to talk about our Untox Challenge. And I'm going to lead you guys through some things that everybody can do. So buckle in, let's talk about this, because I think what people do is they make it too complicated. One thing about doing our Saturday shows is just to give you guys information, take control of your health, and do some wonderful things that you don't need anybody for. You know, you can have a health coach that gives you some guidance on your lifestyle. You might need a little bit more in-depth stuff, so you can see one of our chiropractors or nurses or one of the docs that do their thing, and you can actually maybe need a little bit more. But for everybody in general, there's things that you can do to help untox the body. And they're just simple lifestyle things. And I want to go through a bunch of those today and have a great understanding, because if you just start doing these, once again, you're going to see a major change. Now, what I mean by major change is I'm not expecting conditions to go away. Even though people start doing stuff, they say, I'm doing so much better with this, this, this. Yeah, because when you support the body and you do things for the body and actually get it in its right normal state, you'd be surprised at things that can happen. So I'm going to go through some of those things that you can do on a regular basis to untox, because as you're going to notice that we do in school and do on our other channels, we're trying to give you some guidance about how to clean up things around your house, how to change your cosmetics and your perfumes and all things like that to things that are less toxic. But then you want to do is you want to make sure that inside you're doing things on a regular basis to help remove those toxic things. So let's take a look how the body actually works. So here we go. The body actually has its own built-in detox system. Oh, that's so wonderful. Mainly the liver, kidneys, lungs, skin, and digestive system. And they do a pretty amazing job when they're functioning properly, and that's the big key. That said, you can support your body's natural detoxification with some healthy lifestyle choices, and here's how. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through several steps that you can do on a regular basis to actually do these things. But what I want you to understand is this. There's multiple organ systems that are involved in this. So if you take a look, we do have organs of elimination. People don't realize our skin itself. That's why we have, certain immune things going on or certain deficiencies, we can see change in our skin. That's why you can look at the respiratory, you can cough and eliminate your GI. You can legitimately, you're gonna poop or puke, sometimes to get this stuff out. We have the urinary tract. We also have the nose. That's why when people come to me and say, Doc, I'm so sick. Okay, what's going on? I've been throwing up. Okay, did you put something toxic in your body? Well, I don't know. I'm sneezing and coughing all the time. Well, remember, if you look at some of the main symptomatology that people go through, it's your body eliminating things that shouldn't be there. Now, do you want to see it continuously all the time? No, if you have constant nasal problems, you might have some allergies. You might come in contact with things that you should be avoiding. If you have constant skin irritation or constantly throwing up or all these lung issues, that's not good. But you understand that these organs are always doing what it can to remove the things that do not belong there. So how can we support those? So once again, you don't have to be under care at all to do these things. Now, when I talk about the herbs, I always tell people I'd like to see people have a little bit more guidance by somebody that knows what they're doing. But just in general, there's things that we can do on a regular basis to do it. So I'm going to take you through 7 steps today, okay? Now, let's look. Here we go. Let's look at the foods, herbs, and habits that support these systems. Because here's what happens. I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking, I'm just going to get these supplements and these herbs. I'm going to take it and I'm going to do it. No, that's a small portion of it. What I want you to understand is this. It's going to take your active participation in this, because if you do these habits, and that's the big thing. That's why we have health restoration coaches. They're there to give you guidance on your habits, on your lifestyle. We all need that, and we have those things on a regular basis. So let's look at number 1. Very simple. Stay hydrated. People need to stay hydrated, okay? And like I said, I use the term helps flush out toxins to your urine and sweat. But here's where people make the mistake. Because all of a sudden, what they'll do is they'll make this, Tom, come back to me on this one, is we'll make this mistake. Because all of a sudden what they'll do is they'll do these challenges where they drink like a gallon of water a day, okay, for a certain amount of days, all right? And I'm like going, okay, I'm cool with that because you're hydrating, but when you're drinking a gallon a day, especially if you're a smaller woman, what's up?
I'm about to get on stage right now.
All right, yes. Everybody's laughing right now, all right? Because here's what happens. I love the challenges they do, but here's what happened is this. If you drink a gallon of water a day and yeah, you have to put some high exercise output, and going for a walk is not high exercise output, okay? But the idea is this, is you're going to deplete yourself of electrolytes. And that's, you gotta be very careful at. So I tell people, so let's go back to my thing. Here we go. Add electrolytes to make sure no loss of minerals, all right? It's very important. Now that's why I love cucumbers and celery. Uh-oh. All my carnivore friends were just like, oh no, trust me. They're hydrating and they're rich in electrolytes. See, that's why celery and cucumbers are actually so good for you. See, so that's why when I look at it, I'm not a joke. I love cucumbers. I just like peeling it and then cutting it up and then taking a bunch of salt. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yes, even my daughter Trinity's here like going, yes, we have it at our home all the time, okay? Now, if you think of it this way, I want you to hydrate. I want you to do it, but please do me a favor. There's wonderful electrolyte powders out there. And please don't ask me for the one I have. I will tell you this, in the future, we're gonna have our own. I'm telling you right now. But I just like the one I like and stuff, and I have my own preferences that way. And I know a lot of people say, well, Doc, tell us what electrolyte powder. There's a lot of great ones out there. Just make sure there's no fillers and no artificial sweeteners and things like that. There's a lot of good ones out there, all right? But then, like I said, add the hydrating-based foods in there, like cucumbers and celery. But number 2 is very important. I can honestly tell you, I've taken this more seriously in the last year than I ever have in my whole life. And I will always be honest with you with my strengths, but also my shortcomings. But now I've been doing this on a regular basis. Exercise. Sweat that baby out. You know what I'm saying? Exercise regularly, as you can see from the slide right here. Regularly to support lymphatic drainage and toxic elimination. Saunas. Okay? I love my sauna. Helps release toxins through the sweat. And a lot of people realize Vibe plates are extremely good for you. Extremely good for you. And I get this question all the time. Well, Doc, there's a $200 one on Amazon and there's a $1,000 one. Yes, they all have different frequencies and they all have different health benefits. But any is better than none. Do you know what I'm saying? And once again, you can get them on Amazon, you get them stuff like that, they're fantastic. Yes, if you want a little bit more clinical one, because let's say you have bad joints, then I'd get guidance, call the Wellness Way and ask the ones that they can do that way. They're very important. But these things are motion that actually help us circulate our lymphatic drainage is so important. So remember, stay hydrated, exercise. Right there, that's you guys. You know what I'm saying? Put those things, do it on a regular basis. And you say, well, Doc, you also want women to, resist change, but only certain times. Yes, but you can move on a daily basis regardless. And you can keep these things and get a little bit of sweat going on that way and allow your body to actually start to detoxify, okay? Number 3, just the simple thing. Don't put the toxins in. Try to eat clean. Stay away from as much processed food as possible. Add as much clean whole foods in as possible, organic if possible. Okay, these things are extremely important. I want you to understand that as you start to do these things, putting the right stuff in is vitally important. That's why we focus so much on healthy proteins. We focus so much on the things that are going to be the least toxic things you can do. You can go look at the Dirty Dozen. Try to put, some people can't afford organic stuff that way. Look at the most least toxic things that you can add to your system. Now, you'd be surprised about number 4, but there's one thing that people do not realize. Sleep well. You need to sleep well. Take a look, because here's why. People do not realize that your body clears out the waste of your brain. The waste, yes, your brain creates a waste product, just like every tissue does. And it happens during sleep. And that's why I need men to sleep at least 8 hours, women to sleep between 8 and 10. I like the more than 9 to 10 hours that way. But shoot for at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night per everybody. It's so important. I think it's vitally important for these things to happen when it comes to everybody and their health, all right? And those are simplistic things. You know what I'm saying? Stay hydrated, move, make sure you're sleeping. Be very conscious of what you're putting in. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you a little bit more detail about what to put in that I believe are essential, and that's why I'm gonna talk to my friends that are vegan, vegetarian, I'm gonna talk to my carnivore friends, and I have them on both. Like I said, when I look at having good proteins in our system to support liver function, I also want to make sure, for example, that I'm more of an animal-based person. Now, for all of my vegan friends, guess what happens? I have some other things that you can do on a regular basis to help support those organs of elimination. Number 5, right here, eat detox supporting foods. I can never get away from cruciferous. And I apologize, I forgot to put a comma after arugula, but I would tell you, arugula is by far my favorite cruciferous. I think broccoli is good. I love Brussels sprouts. I love cauliflower, kale. They boost liver detox enzymes. There is a whole enzymatic process of the liver called the P450, and it's vitally essential for hormone conversions, binding to toxins, elimination, and remove them. There's so many great things that are involved in that, but cruciferous vegetables. So that's why for all my carnivore friends, understand I need you to eat good proteins. I really do. I need you to have good proteins. Proteins are essential for good liver function. And I'm more of an animal-based one. I'd rather see somebody have ground beef or something. And I still think ground beef is still the best meat for the body. I really do. I think it's better than chicken. I think it's better than, I just think it's the most wonderful thing capable that everybody can do. Now people say, Doc, but you really love organ meats. I do. I really do. But it's hard to get people to do them. If you can add, some ground beef with some organ meats, ooh, now you got some great stuff for your body. It's gonna help in so many ways. You need good proteins for good liver function. But let's go back, there's other things. Lemon water, okay? Helps digestion, helps bile production and release. Oh, we talked about last week, garlic. All right, come back to me, Tom wants yes. Okay, we got our whole crew here. Raise your hand after last week, you guys ate a little bit more garlic. Yeah, see, we all did. You know what I'm saying? I said you can't go wrong. Man, I just love garlic. It's kind of funny, on Sunday, we went over to Brandon's house, my nephew, and a bunch of wonderful people over there, and they were making sushi rolls and everything. Well, I just took the shrimp, and I took the scallops, and they had chopped up garlic, and I put it in the bowl, and I just made it there, and I ate extra garlic, because I just love garlic and what it does. So let's continue. So once again, it helps activate those liver enzymes, help filter out toxins. And for all my carnivore fans, this is why I love fiber-rich foods. Chia. If you have not had Christie's chia pudding, you are missing out. And I know there's a lot of controversy when people talk about flax. Flax can be a wonderful fiber. And yes, if you have some other issues in your GI or even hormonally, you gotta be careful sometimes. But other high fiber-based fruits, these help your gut eliminate waste. I'm always gonna talk about sauerkraut, not only here for both soluble and insoluble fiber, but it's just one of my favorite foods, and all the vitamin C and all things that are needed. But I'm also a big fan of beets. Beets actually help boost glutathione production. That's the liver's major master antioxidant that way. So good for us in so many ways. See, so these are great foods that you can start to introduce on a regular basis. Once again, one thing is they're gonna keep your calorie consumption down. They're gonna support all the processes of the body, help remove, come and get contact with things that we want to eliminate. And all these things are essential for good liver function, good skin function, good GI function, good respiratory, good nose and pharynx function. All these things are fantastic. Now, another thing that I absolutely love that is actually even more important is supporting your gut health, all right? But how you do it by prebiotics and probiotics. So you see the probiotics, there you go. Sauerkraut, yogurt. Now, I'm a fan of Greek yogurt, but there's some people that cannot have dairy. So you might want to use a coconut yogurt. You might want to use some other form of yogurt that way. Kefir, as many things as you can ferment as possible, I think is fantastic. Now sometimes, come back to me, Tom, on this one, sometimes people can't handle probiotic foods. They can't handle the fermented foods. Then we have a little bit of a GI problem, so you might have to start with prebiotics. So here are some of the prebiotic foods that I absolutely love. You can see that chicory root. There's that wonderful garlic again. It just ends up in everything. You know what I'm saying? It just ends up in everything. Onions, asparagus. This keeps digestion moving and your microbes balanced, okay? You have all of your commensal bacteria that are your normal flora that, guess what? Help with digestion, help with protection, help with your immune response, help with the removing of toxins, helps avoid toxins from being absorbed. So important. Now, I don't know not why I see the natural world not talk about this enough, but the next one, drink aloe juice. It's the most simple thing, okay? Now, sometimes people make the mistake and they drink aloe gel. Well, just imagine drinking a cup full of snot, okay? Do not do it, okay? So when I say drink aloe, I don't mean aloe gel. I literally have patients go, Doc, I can't handle the aloe. I'm like, what do you mean you can't handle it? It's just a juice. He's like, juice? It's a big old, the gel. I'm like, oh, no. Do the aloe juice. I have my wonderful favorites. Try to keep there no preservatives. That's why I like the organic one. But aloe juice is absolutely phenomenal. It's been a normal part of my life for 30 years, and my daughters, and my wife's, and my family's. This is normal. If you've ever been under my care, you have done aloe juice, all right? And we gotta keep those organs of elimination moving. So as you can see right here, I believe that people need to take magnesium. Now, once again, magnesium comes from our wonderful greens, but a lot of people are not eating enough of their greens to do that, all right? Now, next, before I put the next slide up, I want you to understand, This is where I'd like to see you be guided by one of our doctors, okay? Because why? Because these, once again, there could be some negative reactions that come when you're given certain herbs that way, so you be very careful. So I'm always going to caution you today, listen, make sure that you're under care for these things. Now, are there other things you can do just in general? Yes, if you want to do a little bit, that'll be up to you based on the information that you read, but I want you to do these things, okay? Think about it. Herbs and supplements, I say with care, the fact that, once again, I see you have some guidance by one of the docs. Milk thistle, dandelion, and turmeric support liver health. Those are probably the three I love the most. Ashwagandha helps reduce stress, which can indirectly support detox pathways. Nettle for our kidneys, amazing for our kidneys. That's why if you ever notice when I have people that have kidney issues, I like nettle and albizia. And of course, one of my favorite herbs for women, it's also known as their beauty herb, is Schisandra. Supports good liver function and stress-related detox, adaptogen that protects liver cells and boosts detox enzymes. So important for it. So important for those things. Now, once again, I want to say this. I'd rather have somebody not do that by himself because there could be some reactions. There really can. Sometimes when people take milk thistle and supporting certain phases of liver, there can be some symptomatology, there can be some things. So just be very cautious doing it. I'd rather have you guided by somebody or be under somebody's care to do that. All right. Now, once again, the three that I absolutely love the most, obviously, is milk thistle. It's actually even hepatoprotective. I love turmeric. Turmeric, once again, is one of those blanket herbs that affects most systems of the body. And dandelion root, once again, with great release of bile, gallbladder function, liver function. It's also diuretic, great for the kidneys. It does some wonderful things. So knowing those things, those are 7 steps that you can take as you are cleaning up around your house, as you're changing your cosmetics, as you're changing the fragrances, as you're changing all these cleaners and everything that you have in your house, trying to clean up the diet, bring all the good stuff in that way. These are things and just simple steps you can do that can dramatically change your life. And once again, that's why I tell people, this is just good information that you can take to support your lifestyle to make it better for you. And you start doing those things, you'd be surprised how good life can get. We're always so directly looking for a doctor to tell us everything to do. I'm like, something of this, the vast majority of doctoring is getting good people to do good habits. It really is. It's doing good habits. Because if you can maintain those good habits, you can see the wonderful outcomes you want over time. Those 7 things, so let's say 6, minus all the herbs that you probably need some guidance on, you'd start doing those 6 things on a daily basis. Just watch your life get better. I believe that you will have changes in your energy, changes in your focus, changes in your memory, changes in your energy, everything. I just believe it's going to be massively beneficial for everybody that's there.